communication lessons we could also learn from genetically engineered organisms. But I'm going to focus on the oversight lessons. So here we have the model. And I do have the data for GEOs, and I'm just working on the article. But these relationships between how oversight systems develop, how they operate, and their outcomes are very complex. As you can see, these correlation coefficients are all significant at this p level. So, you know, significant relationships between these elements. And so this is the complex diagram. This is the simple diagram. You'll notice that public confidence is not an outcome here. Well, it really is, except we didn't see relationships at this p, but we did see them at 0.05, at that level of significance. And so here we have relationships. Public input seemed to be correlated with public confidence in this scoring system, as well as data requirements, incentives for compliance, and public input in the operation of the oversight system. So I think the lessons here is that the hypothesis is, I mean, you can't say that this is a lesson yet. I should be careful with my language, but the hypothesis is public input is important for the outcome of public confidence in oversight systems. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. We've been saying it for 20-some years, but it's nice to at least show it empirically for the empiricists that have been skeptical of that and not recognizing its importance. So here's some lessons for communication here too. I think this kind of information about what's important for public confidence and oversight might be useful to this field of risk communication as well. It's not only the engagement component, and now I'm really taking a leap here, but it's not only the engagement component, but it's also the empirical component that people care about. So again, that blend between objective and subjective risk gets blurred. That's the hypothesis anyway. So messages and synergies, I'm nearly done. Among the two different NSF projects, but really more broadly, our disciplines in our areas is consider attributes of oversight as a possible factors in perception of new technologies. So you guys could go back to these slides and say, well, how does compliance and enforcement with nanotechnology affect public attitudes? How exactly is that going on? So are various elements of oversight important for public perception of emerging technologies? And I'd be happy to supply you with this list of criteria. We started off with 66, and we had to reduce it because it would have been even more of a nightmare. And then finding relationships among attributes of oversight and outcomes, such as public confidence, health and safety, and environmental impacts. I think that there's some synergy here between the two different NSF grants that I'm on, and we could consider some oversight variables in our work. And I think that's all I have here. So again, messages about how do we communicate individual studies within a risk analysis framework? How do we acknowledge both the objective information within that framework, subjective concerns of individuals and communities, but more importantly, recognizing that those two are not that distinct, and that we need to find more creative, I think, ways to communicate with the public and with stakeholders about the overlap between the subjective and objective components of risk. And that's all I have. Thank you.